am here to ask you right now, are you grieving enough? So for me, for years and years, I had the belief or the understanding of grief that it only happens when someone dies. And as someone who hasn't had a lot of death close in her life, I didn't think of myself as being in a place of grief. So, what was a really big understanding for me was that grief can happen in many different shapes and forms. And for instance, things are changing shape constantly in our world, right? Maybe our job isn't the same as it was, especially, now in the last year, certainly. And different relationships change. Maybe a best friend moves across the country. So grief is actually present anytime there's loss. So a really pivotal moment for me was really understanding that. And the reason I say that is because it gave me permission to suddenly grieve, allow myself to experience all the varying degrees of grief and have some gentleness and some kindness to the fact that there is loss. And so there's ways that on a day-to-day basis we experience losses, and I'm just wondering and inviting you to maybe inquire inside, are you giving enough space to grief? And I mean, I'm talking about little things, right? It could be that you were supposed to hang out with a close friend and they had to cancel, and now you're not going to get to see them for a week. There's grief there. And I want to give you permission to give space for that grief. Like, it doesn't have to be a big loss to get some attention from you and to get some self-compassion from you. So my invitation is to check in on how, is this a loss, and am I giving space for the grief that's associated with it? And really validating yourself on the feelings that come up around it. There are varying degrees of feelings that get kicked up with grief. So can we be the kindness in the space and welcome, big or small, the losses in life and the impact that they actually have on us emotionally? So just something to think about. Comment below if you have any thoughts.